Hey, thanks for whacking on the thumbnail. This weekend I saw The Dark Tower starring Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. And guys, this is with the K review. I'm Victor, and yeah, I'm feeling alright. That really sounded funnier in my head.
With a K review.
It's VIC?
No, it's with a K.
So when I first heard they were going to be making a movie called The Dark Tower that's based on the Stephen King novels, I was actually kind of excited and a little bit worried because whenever Hollywood seems to get a hold of like the Stephen King books, they try to make them into something that they're not. And what I mean by that is I've actually read a couple of Stephen King's books. Like I read Dreamcatcher, and that book was amazing because Stephen King has this ability to write a lot of internal dialogue into all of his characters. And then when I saw the movie The Dreamcatcher, I was like, holy crap, they got it completely wrong, and the movie was terrible, except for Morgan Freeman, because, you know, Morgan Freeman is a god. But there are actually a few exceptions when Hollywood does get a hold of Stephen King's stuff, and that has to specifically do with, like, The Green Mile, It, and there's just a bunch of other ones that sometimes Hollywood does do a really good job. And I was kind of expecting that this movie, The Dark Tower, was going to be one of those really good job. All the trailers looked amazing, it looked like there was a lot of action. Idris Elba was going to be in it. Matthew McConaughey looked like he was going to be really freaking evil, and I really wanted to see that. I like Matthew McConaughey as an actor. He's amazing. He's gotten his awards. He's done some amazing work like Dallas Buyers Club. He did one of the best performances in his entire life. And this movie, I was like, okay, he's going to have that real evil side to him. You know, it's going to really scare me in the movie. And then I went to go see this, and I thought of two things. One, Idris Elba, Hollywood gives him oddly these roles that he does okay in, and the movie's kind of like terrible. And Matthew McConaughey, he was really good, again, just like Idris, but there was absolutely nothing behind these guys. Let me explain this. When this movie first starts out, it starts out really eerie. You have these kids like playing on this playground, and then things start to get really weird. And that's awesome. I like it when movies just kind of start out like happy and then they go really dark. And this is something that I think Stephen King does really well at. But then the movie starts to get into this whole thing about the gunslinger who's played by Idris Elba, and about this little boy who is like having these visions of the gunslinger in like the normal world. And I thought, okay, what is this movie about? And specifically what I mean by that is, what is the backstory? Because in the entirety of this movie, there is almost zero backstory that is given to anything. And the thing that carries this entire movie is actually the little boy, Idris Elba, and Matthew McConaughey. They have some of the best chemistry on the screen without actually having any meat, big meat, in this to actually help them chew through. Oh my god, that's a really terrible analogy. Ugh. Let me try this again. I really think the best way that I can describe this movie is that all the background, all the context to why the gunslinger exists, why Matthew McConaughey characters exist, who is Matthew McConaughey's character, what is the world that they are in, what is this post-apocalyptic world, that is never, none of that is actually really explained in the movie. The movie is only an hour and a half long. So, I mean, that's really short by Hollywood standards. Usually movies that come out now are like 2 hours long, and you get more context and everything like that. But I was just wondering how it's not explaining anything to me, because I've read like 2 of the Dark Tower series books. I heard all the other books introduce a ton more things about the Man in Black, about the gunslingers. And in this movie, there is nothing. There is virtually nothing explaining to me when I'm watching it to be like, hey, here's this information, here's this information. There's nothing there. But the best thing, honestly, is the 3 characters in this movie, because they all work really well together. And I think what the goal of this entire thing is to make you forget about any of the real context in this movie. You know, they're not trying to go weird like, you know, all the other Stephen King's movies were, but they're trying to just say, hey, we want you to just forget about all this other background stuff, and we just want you to concentrate on the leads. And that's where it kind of succeeds. There is so many times that there are very eerie things in this movie that happen, like with the Man in Black. Like he'll pass by somebody in the human world and he'll make them do something, or you know, or he'll just do something really sadistic, and that's really good. I really started to lock in with the Man in Black character and the Idris Elba character, the gunslinger. You know, he's really good. His relationship with the little boy in the movie is really great. They just have all these different moments where it's funny and it's touching and it's great, but I didn't know anything about the gunslinger. I didn't know really what drove him other than the Man in Black did something to him, which I won't give that away, but I'll just put that up there and you'll figure it out, trust me. There is even this one point in the movie where the Man in Black defines the gunslinger's bullets, and I was like, okay, you just used one line that is extremely important in defining why his bullets are like so important for him to use in the movie, and then like 20 minutes later the bullets literally have no meaning in the movie because of the certain thing that the gunslinger does. But that's what I'm saying is like there is all these little bits and pieces in the movie that are not given to us. There's like you're just supposed to kind of understand like, okay, this is just the way it is, this is what's happening, and that's all we really need. But when I go to a movie like this that's like fantasy and it's based off a book series, and let's say that I didn't know anything about the book series, I don't understand really what's going on. There's a lot of action, there's a lot of great stuff here, but there just needed to be more. There needed to be like 45 minutes more of explaining the background at least. Why are there rat characters? Is the Man in Black a magician? Is he some sort of wizard? Is he Satan? Is he Channing Tatum in some good makeup? I need to know these things. So what I can tell you guys is The Dark Tower is one of those movies that does need more context, and I would have to say if I were to give this movie a rating, it would probably just be a 2.5K because it's just okay and it's not the greatest, but it wasn't horrible when I left. So definitely when you see this in theaters, I would just go to see it for a cheap price, and then when it comes out on video or when it comes out on streaming, I would say put it maybe in your top 25 if you want to see it on a Friday night. And yeah. Thanks guys for watching my review. I really do appreciate all the viewers, subscribers that I do have. Make sure to leave me a whacked out comment below and let me know what is your favorite Stephen King movie and what is the worst Stephen King movie that you've ever seen, and do you really think Hollywood should kind of keep going with it? I guess in October we're going to have It coming out, and that actually looks really cool. I like the redesign of it, but let me know in the comments below. Are you looking forward to that or what? And yeah, never forget, if you don't like what you're watching, you can always turn it off. But thanks for coming back and seeing me. All right.